The reading is from Luke chapter 12, reading from verse 35. Be dressed ready for service and keep your lamps burning, like servants waiting for their master to return from a wedding banquet, so that when he comes and knocks, they can immediately open the door for him. It will be good for those servants whose master finds them watching when he comes. Truly, I tell you, he will dress himself to serve, will make them recline at the table, and will come and wait on them. It will be good for those servants whose master finds them ready, even if he comes in the middle of the night or towards daybreak. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what hour the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into. You also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him.
Thank you, Colleen. You may be aware that each of the chaplains here takes it in turn to do night duty. Now, this doesn't mean that we wander around the building with a torch all night long waiting for burglars, but it does mean being responsible in the moment during the middle of the night where that fire alarm goes off, and it's the thing every chaplain on duty prays will not happen with great fervour. But the duty then, of course, is to leap out of bed and into action and make sure that everyone has vacated the building and has congregated. This is your instructions now if you're staying, congregated over by the prayer rooms. Thankfully, it rarely happens. But I have to say that it's something that when I am on duty, as I am tonight, as it happens, that I feel I need to have all my ducks in a row for. So I have everything ready. I have my trousers, is the first thing, of course. Nobody wants to see my legs in the middle of the night. I have a top. I have trainers, not my usual DMs. Dave will know, putting on DMs if you're in a hurry takes forever. So, trainers, because that's quicker. The folder, which everyone's name's in it, the night phone, the torch, all the things that you need, everything ready. There's no guarantee, of course, I'll be awake, but at least I'll have my clothes on and I'll be ready for action. The next step, of course, would be to actually sleep with all of your clothes on, to go to bed fully dressed, but it seems a bit extreme. But having said that, what does Jesus say? Be dressed and ready for action. Be dressed and ready for action and have those lamps lit. This isn't, of course, about a fire alarm going off, but nonetheless, this is an image of readiness and alertness and attentiveness. These are themes that we may hear a lot of during these weeks of Advent, a season which, as we've heard, is about getting ready for Christmas, to celebrate Christmas, but ultimately, far more importantly, this is about our readiness to receive him when he comes again. And that's not just something we should be thinking about in Advent. We should be thinking about it all year round. But Advent gives us a focus to think about that. In the parable that Jesus tells today, I wonder what you notice. And I wonder if the parable of these servants waiting for their master to return from the wedding banquet speaks into your own experience of waiting. Waiting which is often really tough. Waiting which is sometimes quite boring and hard work. Waiting which requires quite a lot of patience. We may be waiting for a piece of good news because we haven't had much good news recently. So where's that piece of good news? Let's wait for it to come. We may be waiting for something to happen, for a penny to drop. We've been waiting for that bit of inspiration, that bit of guidance, that bit of direction. It's not coming. I'm waiting for it. Maybe waiting for medical results to come. That's a really tough wait. Waiting for prayer to be answered. Waiting for a promise to be fulfilled. Waiting and praying for peace and justice to come in the world, as we will be doing in a few moments. And yes, waiting, of course, for his return, the ultimate waiting, however we understand the doing of that. I don't know about you, but I find a lot of truth in the phrase, a watch pot never boils. A watch pot never boils. You stand by the kettle, waiting for it to boil. It will not boil. But you move away and you do something else for a moment, the kettle will boil. It'll come to the boil. Distracting ourselves normally works. When you're bored of waiting for something, to distract yourself. I think that's true about a lot of things. However, Jesus here seems to be asking for an alertness. The particular waiting that this is about requires not distraction, requires our eyes to actually be alert and on the ball, lamps lit, hearts ready. This isn't the time, actually, for distractions. I wonder what you notice in this story today. If you are a person who naturally keeps that flame of longing and waiting alive in your day-to-day life, is there an encouragement here to you to keep guarding that flame and to keep it alive? Or is there a challenge here, given in love, but a challenge to actually, wake up a bit more, pay more attention? What does being ready to us actually mean? I noticed a surprising twist in the story that we heard, that when looking at it recently, I hadn't noticed before. Jesus says in the story, it will be good for those servants whose master finds them watching when he comes. He will dress himself to serve and will come and wait on them. And wouldn't we expect it to be the other way around? That the one waiting gets ready to do the serving of the one who has been eagerly anticipated. But actually, in this story, the roles are totally reversed. When I jump out of bed in the middle of the night here, ready for action, it's essentially to perform a service to the guests who are staying and to this centre that I and the other chaplains here work for. But what if I jump out of bed and move over to the prayer rooms, all ready with my folder and everything? And what I find actually is that the guests have prepared a midnight snack for me and asked me to take a seat and say, don't need to stress. Have something to eat. That's the odd twist in the story that we have here. Jesus, the servant king, commending us for our faith and our faithfulness, honoring our readiness, blessing our alertness. That's an encouragement, if ever there was one, I think, to have your clothes on, to have your eyes open, to have your lamps lit. because he will come at a time when we least expect him. Amen.